Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kody Brown exposed in court. Hidden truths, betrayals, and Robyn's meltdown caught on camera. In what's being described by insiders as the most jaw-dropping chapter yet in the never-ending saga of the Sister Wives family, shocking courtroom revelations have thrust Kody Brown into a spotlight even harsher than the glare of reality TV cameras, exposing a tangled web of hidden truths, betrayals, and a meltdown from Robyn so dramatic it had even the stoic bailiffs raising their eyebrows. The story begins with a legal battle that many fans suspected had been brewing beneath the surface for years. Financial disputes, property claims, and accusations about where the family's money actually went once TLC paychecks started rolling in. And when Kody stepped into that courtroom, flanked by attorneys and visibly agitated, it was clear from the start that this wasn't going to be some simple civil matter, but rather a full-on unraveling of the carefully curated image he had fought to preserve for over a decade. According to sources, court documents laid bare that funds earmarked for family property development on Coyote Pass were allegedly redirected toward questionable personal expenses, including lavish trips, high-end vehicles, and even rumored overseas investments, revelations that had Christine and Janelle's legal representatives nodding knowingly, as if they had been expecting this bombshell all along, while Mary, who many thought would quietly distance herself, was reportedly glued to every word, determined to see what skeletons might tumble out of the closet. But the most shocking element of all wasn't the financial trail. It was the testimony and cross-examinations that revealed years of internal betrayals within the family structure itself, with whispers that Kody had signed secret documents giving Robyn and her children more financial security than his other wives ever received, a move that painted him as the villain in a way even TLC's editing never quite captured. And when these papers were produced in court, eyewitnesses say Robyn completely lost control, breaking down in sobs, shaking her head, and at one point even trying to leave the room before being persuaded to stay by her visibly embarrassed lawyer, who kept repeating, "Please compose yourself." Fans who had long accused Kody of favoritism now had confirmation in black and white: hidden trusts, sealed agreements, and lopsided contracts that ensured Robyn's branch of the family tree would thrive financially even if the others were left scrambling for crumbs. And as these details spilled out, gasps reportedly echoed through the courtroom, with one onlooker later telling a blogger that it felt like the climax of a movie, but it was real life. Kody, red-faced and defensive, allegedly tried to argue that these financial maneuvers were simply good planning and an attempt to protect the family unit, but under sharp questioning, his explanations crumbled, with attorneys pointing out contradictions between his sworn statements and what had been filmed over the years on Sister Wives, leading to murmurs that producers may have been subpoenaed to hand over raw footage, something that could drag TLC itself into the mess. Meanwhile, Robyn's breakdown grew so intense that reporters outside later described her as hysterical, clutching tissues, muttering about betrayal, and at one point screaming, "This isn't what you promised me," loud enough that it carried into the hall. A moment that some believe may actually surface in leaked audio because of how many phones were rolling. When it happened, for longtime viewers, this courtroom saga confirmed suspicions they'd held for years, that Kody's declarations of fairness, unity, and balance were little more than smoke and mirrors hiding a system built on favoritism, control, and secrecy. And though the case is still unfolding, the fallout has already begun, with speculation that Robyn may now be considering her own legal action to separate herself from the chaos, despite once being positioned as Kody's untouchable soulmate. Social media has erupted with hashtags like #KodyExposed and #RobynMeltdown. Fan accounts are dissecting every leaked line from the filings, and even former Brown family friends have begun to emerge with their own damning anecdotes about broken promises and whispered warnings they say they ignored at the time. Yet perhaps the most haunting takeaway is the image of Kody himself, a man who once built a TV empire around the concept of family unity, now standing in a courtroom where every word, every document, and every tear-streaked outburst chips away at that narrative, leaving behind a portrait not of a patriarch holding his family together, but of a man cornered by the very truths he fought to suppress, betrayed by his own decisions, and exposed in a way that even the most dramatic reality show edit could never fully capture. The drama inside that courtroom didn't end with Robyn's initial emotional collapse. In fact, observers say it only intensified as the day wore on, with layers of betrayal peeling back like an onion no one wanted to touch. At one point, attorneys representing Janelle and Christine reportedly presented a binder thick with receipts, bank statements, and contract excerpts they claimed illustrated a years-long pattern of deception by Kody, not just financial favoritism toward Robyn, but also the systematic exclusion of his other wives from critical decisions, including the redistribution of Kody past shares. And when those documents were displayed on screens for the court to see, Robyn allegedly began whispering furiously to Kody, covering her mouth with a tissue as if trying to shield her words from the cameras, while Kody leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his jaw tightening in that familiar defensive posture fans recognize from countless Sister Wives episodes. Eyewitnesses say the tension became unbearable when a line item surfaced showing funds being funneled into what appeared to be a private European bank account under Kody's name, an account that, according to investigators, was never disclosed to the family, fueling rampant speculation that Kody may have been preparing for a quiet exit strategy years before his marital implosion played out on TLC. And though his lawyers attempted to downplay the discovery as a travel account for family opportunities, the damage was already done. Viewers online seized on the leak, instantly connecting it with recent rumors that Kody had been seen overseas, with hashtags like #KodyInEurope trending within hours. Robyn, meanwhile, reached her breaking point during cross-examination, sobbing uncontrollably as she admitted she had known about several of the accounts and contracts now being dissected in open court. And her outburst was so intense that proceedings had to pause for 10 minutes while she was escorted into the hallway to regain composure, though even there, reporters claimed she could be heard wailing, "He swore it was all for us. He swore I was safe," which only reinforced the growing narrative that even Robyn, long thought to be Kody's untouchable favorite, had been betrayed in the end. As the chaos unfolded, Christine reportedly sat stone-faced, her arms crossed tightly as though every revelation was both vindication and confirmation of what she had suspected when she chose to leave, while Janelle, always the pragmatic one, was said to quietly take notes as her lawyer presented exhibits, occasionally nodding with a look of grim satisfaction. Mary, surprisingly, showed the most emotion, whispering animatedly to her counsel and at one point shaking her head in visible disbelief. As yet another hidden asset was revealed, this one tied to property in Utah that no other wives had been informed about, sparking whispers among fans that Kody may have been setting the stage for post-Robyn life long before anyone realized it. By mid-afternoon, the courtroom had taken on the air of a live drama, with spectators straining to catch every word, journalists scribbling frantically, and even the judge growing visibly impatient with Kody's increasingly evasive answers, reportedly snapping at him once for talking in circles when asked a direct question about his financial priorities, a moment that left the usually smug patriarch momentarily speechless. Online, the fandom was in overdrive, with live updates being shared in real time, Reddit threads ballooning to thousands of comments within minutes, and Twitter, or X as it's now called, turning the hearing into a trending topic, with fans mercilessly dragging Kody's contradictions and comparing Robyn's sobbing breakdown to some of her most infamous TLC scenes, quipping that the courtroom got the season 19 reunion episode we never did. But perhaps the most devastating blow came near the end of the day, when Christine's attorney produced a written statement from one of Kody's older children, rumored to be from Garrison before his passing, detailing feelings of abandonment, favoritism, and financial inequity that had plagued the family for years. Though not read aloud in its entirety, enough was quoted to make the point clear. Kody's decisions hadn't just fractured marriages, they had left emotional scars on his children, and the weight of that testimony reportedly hung in the air long after the judge called for adjournment. Robyn, by then, was described as ashen and trembling, barely able to stand, clutching Kody's arm even as he pulled away with the stiffness of a man already bracing for the storm of public backlash. Christine and Janelle, meanwhile, left the courthouse together, offering brief smiles to supporters outside, while Mary exited quietly, her expression unreadable, but her presence itself a powerful statement that she, too, was watching Kody's downfall with intent interest. Outside the courtroom, reporters shouted questions, cameras flashed, and fans who had gathered in anticipation of drama were not disappointed. The sight of Robyn wiping away smeared mascara, Kody pushing past journalists with a scowl, and Christine waving softly as though closing a chapter in her life created a tableau that seemed scripted for television, yet it was all painfully, publicly real. In the hours that followed, leaked snippets of the court filings began to circulate online, revealing even more alleged betrayals, insurance policies naming only Robyn and her kids as beneficiaries, secret business accounts linked to shell companies, and even mention of expensive jewelry purchases that no one could account for, each new detail painting a picture of a man who had not only lost control of his family, but had potentially sabotaged their financial futures to preserve his own. And then came the whispers of what's next. Insiders claim Robyn, devastated by the double blow of public humiliation and private betrayal, is now considering filing her own countersuit to protect her children, a move that would pit her against the very man she once defended at all costs. Fans speculate TLC cameras may already be rolling to capture the fallout, as the network is known for leaning into real-life drama whenever it hits, and if true, the next season of Sister Wives could be the most explosive yet. One part reality TV, one part courtroom thriller, and 100% train wreck. For Kody, the fallout may be irreversible, his reputation not just as a husband or father but as a man laid bare for all to see, no longer shielded by carefully edited confessionals or Robyn's constant defense, but exposed in cold legal documents, courtroom transcripts, and Robyn's own tearful cries of betrayal, caught forever on camera in a way that even his most loyal defenders cannot.
Spin.